Welcome back to Dirt to Daytona, and that's right folks, you might see the available funds looking at $16,769. Say to yourself, well, you were just at $5,000 the last video, how is that possible? It's because we've raced our races in the Dirt Series. We had 2 races in a row before our next Featherlite Modified Series, and we won both of those races, thus putting us in first place by a nice margin over Alan Anderson, and we actually did it quite cleanly on the second race. The first one, we actually got really lucky. We had kind of a shite car, and there was a wreck, and the car, Danny Diamond, never got to pull off the track, and he was right in the lane, and I ran a little bit higher line, and all the cars every lap slowed down to get around him. It's not cheesy because I didn't do it myself. He did it, whatever. I'll take the win, but then I came out in the second race, qualified in 7th, drove well in the heat race to get to second place in the last corner, and then from lap 1 of the main, I absolutely decimated, never once touching anyone, even when I had lapped not a lot of cars. Once you win the championship, it gets a lot harder, but I lapped probably 4 cars by the end of the race and never even touched them. Like, it was about as clean of a race as you can run on dirt, so it was awesome. With that, though, we lead the dirt standings again and have 16,769. Am I going to upgrade the car? Sure. Let's see what we can do. Probably put that $12,000 upgrade on because the next one up is like $36,000 and that's not worth it. Now, let's look at the engine, though, simply because maybe we can match. See, I don't want to put 1 horsepower on there. Not when I can go to stage 1 advanced and give us some better grip. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add this one in here because we literally ran 1 race and then ran the 2 dirt races. That's enough to get us to this point. So now we're back down to 4,000 something odd dollars, but we've improved the stability of the car, the traction, the grippy. It's time to take this pretty car out. Yeah, I know the paint job's messed up. I got a different sponsor on the dirt car, so I gotta fix that. But anyway, this race is brought to you by, just kidding, this race is at Welch Racing Complex. Perfect time for me to have actually put more grip in the car because this is a road course. I haven't run this road course in probably a year in real life, so I'm gonna go ahead, do some practice. We'll see you at qualifying. Hopefully it'll just be a neat race for us and we'll do better than we'll do the rest of the season on this track. All right, so we didn't even finish a lap. We got it down. I mean, I remember it well enough. All right, here we go. Coming around the final corner onto our onto our big qualifier. This one is for all the barbers. Just kidding. I don't really know. I used to screw up there badly, even with the best car. Best car being fully upgraded. Well, I'm always aware of that. And then, of course, you come off this corner so fast that you forget that you have to really slow down going into this corner. It's a much tighter corner. But the drive-off is pretty cool. We have no power in this engine, so I have to remember that. No matter how well I do, if I try to overexert the car, it's going to cost me. So here we are going into the next corner. Got to keep it off the bumper strips. They do not work well for you. It's like glass or ice or whatever when you get on them. It's definitely a bad situation. There's another fairly dangerous part of the track if you don't do it right. We did this one way better than we had before. That's not too bad. Of course, then you come out of there all excited and you forget to brake for this corner. We did not do this time. Coming up over the bridge into the final corner. And again, you want to hit it as fast as possible, but remember we don't have that car yet, so we'll downshift, and we will come off the corner, shift up, downshift, upshift, whatever shift, into 4th, and finish the lap with a 123, which, as you know from what you saw, is not last place, so that's not bad at all. And that's good enough to get us 13th, which is right around where we've been, 15th, 14th, 13th, 12th. What can we do in a race with other cars? I don't know, but I felt pretty good about that. I almost want to talk my way through this whole track every time because that's how I remember not to miss my break points. I need to race the track and not the other cars. That's a big deal when you're talking about road course racing. really have to race the track and not worry about catching other cars or anything like that, because start to worry about catching another car, you miss a braking point, you miss that braking point, you overshoot the corner, you may end up off in the grass, or you slam on the brakes, lock them up, put flat spots on your tires. All these things can contribute to you sucking at the end of the race. So, let's do the best we can in this race. Goal is always 10th, but the overall goal is to finish without wrecking the car. Let's get out there and do it. And do the starting grid. Sorry.
The race is going green. There's the green
Here we
flag.
go. First things first, can we get through corner number 1 without causing a massive wreck? Got Sullivan right in front of us, Rivas next to him. Don't have to come off the gas or brake. Yeah, we don't have to touch the brake at all there if we do it right. We almost didn't do it right, so that was a wee bit nerve-wracking. Here's where the concern comes in, and it actually worked out for us. So we've made our way up to 11th, and we continue to race like this. You know, not really sure. But we're going to do the damn best we can to gap the cars behind us and see if anybody in front of us makes any mistakes that we don't make. This has actually been one of our better corners at one time or another, and I think the reason why it was is because I don't downshift until the end of the corner, and it keeps me from missing my grip. Here, whoa, that wasn't on purpose. That wasn't on purpose. Sorry. Did not mean to do that. That's going to cost us a spot. It's also going to damage the car. Not great. We've got radiator damage, and we have front end damage that's pretty heavy, so I have to keep an eye on that. I don't think we're getting anywhere close to redlining, so I'm alright with that, but I'm also not going to downshift as much into some of these corners where I was risking it for qualifying. It's just not a necessity. We do need to make sure, though, as you saw, I actually redlined it in 4th gear there. That was because we actually did well, but we have to be careful about that in the future. Sitting here in 12th place, if we were to finish in 12th, we would, in fact, be... it would be our best finish. So, I know we're not getting those 10s, but we still have seven races after this one to get into that 10th place position. We need 2 of them to get $10,000, so I think we'll be okay. We are able to continue doing well in the Dirt Series as well. That funds this car for us to be able to do what we need to do. That was scary, but we actually managed to get out of it without wrecking. I just didn't touch the gas at all when we hit the grass. I did not want to mess that up. I mean, Soros isn't out of view, but I don't know if we're going to be able to catch him. I think just by standard, he has better equipment than us. Let's see if I can... That was actually a really good corner for what we have. And we gained a 10th on him. And... Oh, 122.3. So we actually cleared a whole second off with that lap. Ooh, got on the brakes a bit hard there. And lost that 10th. And lost another 10th. I'm going to downshift in here because I want the torque coming off of it. I didn't want to downshift in the corner because look at us gaining 3/10 on him. I am a big fan of road course racing. Probably my favorite thing next to short track racing, which is really funny. Because most people you would think, well, I can't say most people. I'd say most, like, gamers. Not sim racers, but gamers probably like the long races, the long, big courses where you barely have to touch the brakes. I'm just big on the skill. I mean, there's way more skill needed to do a road course. You're racing the cars on the track. You're racing your track itself. And you got a car like Soros, who I feel has a better equipment than we do. See, as he's pulling on us on the straight, that means that we're doing better braking and driving through the corners than him. And that's pretty awesome. Now, we're not going to catch Sullivan. He is obviously pulling on us mightily. But Kanazawa, he's not doing anything to us either. As far as driving away from us, we're in a hell of a battle here with Soros. So that's pretty awesome. See if I can do something good here to gain up. Look at that. See, that's awesome. Come off the corner, better than him. Shift a little bit early. He's trying to block us into the corner. Now he's kind of committed himself to being inside, which in my opinion means he's got to keep it. Yeah, he's got to keep it tight on the inside like that, which meant he had to slow down a little bit. This is a potential equalizer position for us, as we'll tap the brake, get a little out of shape, but this is where we'll downshift and accelerate off without touching that. Ooh, you can't get much closer than that. But here we go. Again, needing to touch the brake, downshift, and roll through. And look at that big run off the corner, and we gap him by 7, 8 tenths, almost a whole full second in one corner, just by doing better than him. So, I could say we're probably, that's our quality of car that we can drive against. Soros put up a big fight, and as long as we don't make mistakes in the next 7 laps, we'll be able to walk away with a... Well, there's the mistake because I downshifted twice. I double tapped the shift, and that cost us. So, the battle begins again, and can we gain... I mean, he's going to be well over a second in front of us now. That's great. Oh, and mind you, we have radiator damage, so... the fact that we were able to gain on him and not overheat or anything was a big deal. Now we gotta fight back. That was really bad. And I can see the cars in the background now as well, which I couldn't see before. We'll have to do what we can. I just think I'm doing better in on the track than him, as long as I don't make that big mistake again. Oop, oop. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Right back up on him. It's funny, anytime I race, those corners are like, oh, that was my worst corner when I learned the track. And because of that, and that's probably true for anybody, I perfected my least favorite corner into becoming my biggest advantage on the track. With the AI, obviously. I've considered trying to make another go at iRacing. I wasn't actually bad. I raced in the truck series in iRacing. I kind of made it like the game where I was like, okay, I'll start in the lower, and this is back when it was actually hard to drive the cars and trucks. I guess it's not that way anymore. Because of COVID, they really made the game a lot more accessible to everybody, which, whatever. But I was good at staying out of trouble. I don't think I ever placed lower than the top 10 in a race. I won the Daytona truck race one year when I was pretty serious about the game. And I'd like to, I mean, obviously with how it is now, I wouldn't be too upset to get back into it with real people. It's a matter of the toxic environment though. Do you really want to deal with that? I'm not sure. One of the last races I had, I was the toxic person. Well, I was the iRager. I was coming up on the outside on a corner, and the guy comes up on the mic and he's like, I wouldn't advise you to go up around me on the outside. And I'm like, it doesn't matter, dude. Hold your damn line and race like a normal human being, and I'll come around you on the outside, which is where I should be able to go. Anyway, I came up around him, and he put me in the wall. And then said, you'll learn in the future. Like, it was on me, and I flipped out on him. Because just because I don't have a southern accent doesn't mean I don't know anything about racing. You know what I mean? He was from Alabama, and I'm just like, dude. I freaked out on him, realized I didn't want to get, like, suspended by iRacing, so I actually apologized on microphone, but still to this day, and that was many years ago, still to this day, I remember it, and I just loathe drivers like that, you know. It's not your track, you have to respect other people's lines. I had the run, I had the spot, and you drove up into me on purpose. But, and then you said, you'll learn. I know racing. I grew up with racing. I've been racing my whole life. And, anyway, regardless, it's pretty annoying when you deal with people like that. And that's been the big deterrent for me to running in that game. So we'll see what happens though in the future. I might get into it again. It's fun, it's rewarding at the end of a race if you've not been wrecked out, and if you can not take yourself too seriously, I'm sure it's a lot better over time as well. It's not something I'm making money on, so I should be able to get out there and enjoy it and not have to worry about those things. Well, my blah blah talk has been going on though. Ondich caught us and he got his run. There's always that one car that does that. So now I'm going to do what I can to hopefully actually run really hard and pass him again. Yeah, first lap or whatever, I didn't really practice a lot because I remembered the track pretty quickly, but first lap, your tires are cold. So some of the stuff that I haven't been doing that I started to do late in the race here, I could have been doing a little bit earlier. Braking into the corners is not so bad when you have warm tires if you just tap the brakes. So I'm braking a lot later now and doing what I can. I mean, we get a couple tenths on him in some corners, but other corners he drives away from us on. Not so much the corners, but the straightaways where he's driving away from us on. But that's where we'll finish. 12th place. Another clean race. I mean, it was a clean race. It was a good race. And we're, dropping our best lap was a 122, and the best lap of the race was a 115. So we're definitely not where we need to be yet. Top 5, William Anderson, Francis Lee, Jason Couch, Mike Hemeseth, and Danny Seaman. So good race for those guys. We averaged 95 miles an hour a lap. Top was 103 miles an hour a lap. So big difference when you're driving almost 10 miles an hour faster on average. $6,600. That's nice going towards the next upgrade. I mean, $6,600, of course, feels good when you're racing. Welch Valley, William Anderson emerged as victorious at Welch Valley on March 25th. We're not going to talk about my stuff. They can't be mad at me. I mean, we're doing all right. 15th place in the standings overall. That's not great. Tied for 14th. 4 points out of 13th and still within reach of 12th or even 11th at this point. $10,895 in the bank. Got one dirt track race. Got our next race is at Mankato Raceway. It's a small oval at night, $32,500. We're going to run our dirt track race, and in the next episode, you will see Mankato Raceway. So that, folks, is going to do it for this episode. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please take a moment out to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, I urge you to consider hitting that subscribe button. Having said all that, though, as always, and until next time, take care.